Ori, welcome to the Halloween haunting. Have you ever dared to explore the darkest corners of a haunted mansion on Halloween night? Join us as we delve into the terrifying tale of Jack, a brave teenager who faced the unknown in the heart of Maplewood's most infamous haunted house. But that's not all. We've got a special treat for you. Below this video, you'll find our exclusive Halloween costume shop, where you can find the perfect outfit to scare up some fun this Halloween. From witches and ghosts to zombies and vampires, we've got it all. So grab your popcorn, turn off the lights, and prepare to be terrified. The Halloween haunting begins now. It was a chilly Halloween in the small town of Maplewood. The streets were filled with children dressed as ghosts, witches, and monsters, their laughter echoing through the air as they ran from house to house, collecting. But at the end of the street, where the lights were dim and the houses seemed abandoned, stood an old mansion, forgotten by time. The mansion had always been a mystery. No one lived there, and the kids whispered that it was haunted. Stories of strange noises, flickering lights, and ghostly figures kept everyone away, except for Jack. Jack was 16 and wasn't afraid of anything. He had heard the rumors, but didn't believe in ghosts. His friends dared him to enter the mansion. Gate and walked down the stone steps. The door was unlocked. Inside, the mansion was even colder than outside. The air was heavy with dust, and the floorboards creaked with every step. Jack took out his flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness, revealing broken furniture and shattered mirrors. Cobwebs clung to the corners of the room, and the silence was deafening. He explored room after room, but there was nothing. No ghosts, no monsters, just an empty, abandoned house. As Jack was about to leave, he heard something, a faint whisper. "Jack!" He froze. His heart pounded in his chest as he turned to see where the voice came from. But there was no one there. His flashlight flickered, and suddenly, the air grew colder. The whisper came again, this time louder. "Why did you come?" Panic surged through him, but his legs refused to move. The walls seemed to close in, and the shadows. Out of the corner of his eye, Jack saw movement, a figure in white drifting through the hallway. The flashlight died, plunging into complete darkness. "Get out!" The voice hissed, now right behind him. Jack spun around, but the figure was gone. The whispers turned into a low growl, and the temperature dropped so low that Jack could see his breath. A loud crash echoed through the mansion as the door slammed shut, and footsteps pounded toward him. But Jack heard what he had seen. The mansion wasn't just a creepy house. It was alive with something sinister. Despite Jack's warning, his friends, Tom, Sarah, and Mike, didn't believe him. They laughed off his story, teasing him about being scared. But Jack was insistent. The terror he felt in that mansion haunted him, and he refused to let it go. "Fine," Jack said, frustration lacing his voice. "If you think I'm making it up?" His friends agreed, thinking it was just another Halloween thrill. They didn't realize what awaited them. As the sun set and the cool October night settled in, the group made their way toward the old mansion. Jack felt a sense of dread deep in his gut, but his friends were smiles, cracking jokes to lighten the mood. When they arrived, the mansion loomed over them like a forgotten giant, its windows black and empty. The iron gate creaked open again. This time it felt different, heavier, more threatening. Still not scared, Jack? Mike smirked, giving him a playful nudge. Jack didn't respond. His eyes were fixed on the mansion, every instinct telling him to turn back. But it was too late. They were already stepping inside. Once they crossed the threshold, the atmosphere changed. The laughter died. The air was colder, thicker, and the silence was oppressive. Tom, always the boldest, went first, shining his flashlight. Sarah whispered, gripping. "It's just the wind," Tom replied, though his voice faltered. The scratching grew louder, like nails dragging across wood, and then a thump. Something heavy, moving in the room above them. Jack's heart raced. He knew this feeling. It was the same cold dread that had gripped him the night before. "We need to go," Jack said, his voice low and urgent. But before they could move, the door slammed shut behind them with a deafening bang. The house seemed to come alive. The walls groaned, and a low, deep hum filled the air. The sound seemed to vibrate through their bones. "Okay, joke's over," Mike said, his voice shaking. "Let's get out of here." But the door wouldn't budge. It was as if something was holding it shut, trapping them inside. Suddenly the lights of their flashlights flickered, and in the dim glow, Jack saw a shadow move. Not just one, a dozen, maybe more, crawling along the wall. The whispers began again, surrounding them. "Leave." The voice was no longer. It was all around them, echoing through the halls. The temperature plummeted, and their breath came out in white puffs. Sarah screamed as she saw a figure, a pale, translucent woman, standing at the top of the staircase, her hollow eyes staring straight at them. "Leave!" the voice roared, and the floorboards beneath them cracked. What must have been a ballroom. Dust-covered chandeliers hung from the ceiling, and broken furniture littered the floor. But in the center of the room stood a large, cracked mirror. The whispers grew louder, circling them. As they stared at the mirror, they saw something moving within it. Not their reflections, but dark figures reaching out from the other side, their hands pressing against the glass as if trying to break free. Suddenly, the mirror shattered, and the figures poured. The room filled with a deafening howl, and the shadows swarmed them. "Run!" Jack screamed, pushing his friends toward a side door. They barreled through, running blindly down the hall, the sound of the figures chasing them, their footsteps heavy and relentless. They reached the kitchen. The broken window was their only escape. Without thinking, they smashed through it, cutting their hands and arms on the glass, and tumbled out into the cold. They didn't stop running until they were far away from the mansion, their hearts pounding, blood dripping from their cuts as they caught their breath. of the streetlights, no one spoke. They didn't have to. They had all seen it. The shadows, the voices.